Okay, let's go ahead and assume that with this animation that you've attached to your character, you're happy with all the results. Granted, this animation still needs a little bit of cleanup to make it work with our particular geometry, but assuming that you added animation layers and corrected that, we're ready to bake this down to the bones and export it both for Sketchfab as well as usable for game engines or bring it into Maya specifically. So similar to how we baked it to the control rig, we're going to go ahead and on this particular take, choose the character control icon while we have our 3D character selected. Choose bake and bake it to the skeleton. It's going to automatically do it, and we'll see that the source was reverted to none, which is what we originally had, and that information is now translated on specifically the bones. If I were to select the Mixamo rig hips, we again see that there is just too many keys to edit, and this is an indicator that all of the keys have been baked down to every single frame for these particular bones. So now that it's actually to our bones, we're actually able to export this entire character geometry and get it out into a different program. So to do so, if we wanted everything that we see here, including the animation, we'll need to select what's important to us. Now we already know that the hips data is our blade file, so we're not going to be selecting that. And this reference file is not going to be something that we're wanting since it's going to be attached to the characters. So all we'll be doing is selecting the hips through the body, which is going to be giving us all of the geometry. And just as a quick indicator, just selecting the groups does not select everything else. We still see that these skeleton joints are highlighted white, but with everything selected, we can simply right click and select branches, which makes sure that everything within those hierarchies are also selected. So now with all of this selected, we're going to simply File, Save Selection, and embed media, and we're going to name our file what we want. Again, FBX file. And from here, if we had multiple takes, we'd be able to choose which take we wanted and export that as well. Since this is just the one that we're exporting, we're going to just choose this single one, uncheck take 01, which was no animation, and hit save. Okay, next we need to upload a file through Sketchfab, and you could simply hit the upload button, find that FBX file, and hit upload. So we've just done that. Let's go ahead and hit continue. And it brings us over to the processing menu once it's finished actually uploading, and it will give us a preview. Now with some models, Mixamo being one of the stronger culprits, the textures, specular, and environment don't show up exactly how we want. So a real simple, easy way to change this, especially if we are Pro, which is free for education use, if you have a .edu email address, we can go down to Settings and go to 3D Settings, which will pull up a new window for us. Okay, so as this loads, let's go ahead and see what we could do. Our environment, just kind of as a quick indicator, gives us by default this kind of background that they're going to select. It doesn't really work for what we want. By default, they set it to 3 just to kind of give it a little bit of life. But I find it to be a little bit cleaner if we just do an image and choose clean dark. Of course, it's going to have the Sketchfab logo, but I think it looks fairly nice. So next what we need to do is update our lighting, and based on that image that we saw, it's reflecting the lights of that environment. Since we now have a gray background in an empty environment, it would be more appropriate if we were to switch this over to something like Studio. Gives us a nice softer light. And if you wanted to, you could change the orientation of the light, and you can see how it's having a different effect. I think since our character is oriented straight in the z-axis, that an orientation of 0 works just fine. The last thing that we want to update, just so we kind of have the correction of things like the eyes looking a little bit odd and this reflection of our shirt, is if we go over to the Materials tab, choose the different material, and then reduce the specular down to 0. And we'll do that for every single one. And this might not be your desired result that you want, but depending on what you're bringing in and how you want it to displayed, at least knowing where these settings are is important. For Mixamo, having the multiple specular maps added to the actual diffuse, it's important to go through and just kind of zero those out so that way the eyes aren't having such a high reflection and giving it that kind of weird look. When you're happy with your settings, you can save your settings and then choose to publish it, and you'll be able to um, embed it into your file. So let's go over to my models feed and we'll take a quick look at how this can actually be embedded. So at mocaputd.com, going to the top navigation here, manage account, you can also manage your uploads, but we first have to log in. And if you haven't already, go ahead and register it, but you will need to contact your team lead or teacher to get you access as a contributor. I already have an account, so I'm going to go ahead and just hit login. And by default, anyone who registers on the website is going to be able to see their downloads, edit their profile, and see what level they're at. So if we hover over Manage Account again and go to Manage Uploads, we'll actually be able to see the files that we've previously uploaded, sort it based on popularity, see what's being more effective, and see the status of our posts as well as when we've actually published them. For our instance, we're going to be adding a new one, and we'll be able to enter the title for an animation, so various bowing animations. Select the file, have it upload. Now you'll only be wanting to upload the FBX that we exported previously from Blade specifically. It's very important that we're only attaching that file. And then in our description, the only thing that we'll be wanting to add is either a short description of our animation, but primarily this preview file. So if we hit embed, we see this embed code. If we show options, we'll want to preload textures and uncheck animated entrance. If you have Pro, it's also a good idea to hide related models, just so that way the viewers of the website are only seeing what you want them to see. So go ahead and select the code here, copy it, and paste it right here. This paragraph tag all the way down to the closing div can be deleted because the same information is actually linked in the preview of this file. Down here at the bottom, the page template, you can choose top preview just to make the processing a little bit easier. And what that's going to do is put the video file on the top and have the download details beneath it. And because we chose top preview, our animation shows up at the top. We're able to have our viewers see what the animation file looks like and then download specifically the bones of this animation so that way they can retarget it to their own character.